Vietnam. Okay. If you could share a short story about your background and what inspired you into this field?
Yeah. Okay, I can go first. How did I get into the field? I think what happened for me is I grew up on a ranch around animals. I always loved animals, but it wasn't until I was in high school that I had an opportunity to volunteer at a guide dog school where I started helping to prepare dog food and clean kennels, and fell so in love with that. I remember being inspired as a kid, thinking, wow, I can work with animals and teach them to help blind people. And I thought, I'm going to go to college and learn to be a guide dog trainer. But while I was in college, I ended up getting a job at a zoological facility. And I realized that what I had been learning about behavior with dogs also applied to exotic animals. And so that sort of started my journey to learning about training and becoming a trainer. And then being young, I traveled all over the world and got to work in a lot of different cultures, a lot of different species. And so I think it was just a love for animals and having that opportunity to experience what changing behavior and teaching animals could do to improve their lives and to help people. And I think that motivated me, it inspired me, and that's probably the reason I'm a trainer today. How about you?
Yeah, that's so cool. I also loved animals. I was banished to the nature hut in camp because it was the only place I apparently behaved well. But I didn't know about any animal-related professions. So the idea that I could grow up to be an animal trainer just didn't ever come to mind. But I also really loved behavior, so that was a clearer path for me. So I started working in special education with children who have special learning needs, and I did that for 20 years. And then I kind of looked up and said, I'm ready to move this knowledge to some other needy user group, and animal training, animal trainers, zoological work, people working with dogs and cats was a really attractive possibility. So I started writing a little bit that was about anti-punishment and pro-positive reinforcement, and that really snowballed into where we are now for me. Yeah.
Love it. What's your favorite species to work with?
My favorite species, I always like to tell people it's whichever animal I'm working with today.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been very lucky in my career. I have dogs at home. I have alpacas and goats and miniature donkeys at home. I also have worked in the zoological field. I've been fortunate enough to train animals as diverse as spiders and butterflies and as big as elephants. And so I've really enjoyed all of it. So it's all been fun, interesting, and a really good learning experience. And when I'm in the process of working with an animal, I always enjoy that animal that's in front of me right now. So I don't think I can easily say this is my favorite, but it's that ability to build a relationship and communicate with an animal that I find really exciting. Doesn't matter the species.
Yeah. I think for me, I don't know about my favorite species to work with. I agree with Ken's way of looking at it, but I can tell you my favorite species on the planet is definitely dogs. So there's just no better person than a dog.
So what's your main focus areas regarding bridging the communication gap between animals and humans?
That's an interesting question. What is the focus that we put on how do we teach or help people communicate between animals and people? And I think it's really about learning how to observe what the animals tell us through their body language, through their behavior, and understanding behavior principles, because it's those behavior principles that allow us to impart information to the animals. It's how we set up the environment. It's how we provide reinforcers. It's how we interpret their movements and their behavior so that we then react in a way that gives them that opportunity to learn, that opportunity to participate, or that opportunity not to participate if they don't want to. So I think that's what training really is, in my opinion, is it's about communication. So that's why I do that.
Yeah, all of that, and I think one way to bridge the communication gap between or among species and even more importantly individuals is by recognizing first that we're all behaving according to the same principles. That there's a set of universal principles, like there's a set of physics principles or the gravitational principles and those kinds of things that are common to all of us. There are also a set of behavior principles that help us explain why an animal behaves as it does and then helps us build our training plans or interventions. So that commonality among all the species and individuals, I think, is the first brick on the arch that becomes the bridge to close that gap. Yeah, we're the same.
Yeah. So who can benefit of registering for the Nordic Animal Behavior Conference?
Yeah,
I think everybody can benefit from attending a conference like the Nordic Conference, because you're bringing together a group of skilled trainers with great knowledge, and so it doesn't matter if the person is a professional working in the dog training world or somebody who trains horses or somebody that works in the zoo or just an average pet owner. I think that anybody who's passionate about teaching their animals and working well with the animals can benefit from coming to a conference where there's such a diverse group of speakers.
I agree. I think anybody who's alive would benefit from the conference, because part of being alive is defined by being a behaving organism. And the more you know about how behavior works, the better you are at managing your own life and positively influencing others. So come, hang out with us for a few
That's right. It'll be fun.
One last time. Can you say, see you at the Nordic ABC next year?
Sure. Should we do it together?
Yeah.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
See you at the
Nordic
ABC. Was it Nordic ABC?
Or is
Nordic ABC.
Oh, Nordic, you got it right. I got it wrong.
Only this time. I'll get it wrong next time. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
See you at the Nordic ABC
Conference.
Conference.